Hello students, welcome back to the new session. So let's start with a quick revision. In the last class, we did two commands, that is stretch command and lengthen command. So stretch command, that was a very easy command in which you can just stretch the entity by selecting through the crossing window method, taking the base point and giving it a second point. So it will be stretched. Even you can shorten it. So you can lengthen it and shorten it. At times, you may require this command. So it's a very basic command. Lengthen command had some options. The first and the foremost option gives us the measurement of, or I would say the length of the particular object. If I select an object, it will show me the measurement, the length of the object. Like for example, it is a line, so it will show the length of the line, that is it's 10 feet or 15 feet or any measurement which is you have drawn as on in your current drawing. The delta option gives us to change the length and the angle of that particular object. Angles in terms of arcs and length in terms of lines. Alright. In percentage, you have to define the percentage. Like for example, an original object is of 100% measurement. So if you give 150 or 200, so it will increase the size of the original object in terms of taking the percentage as 50 or 100 as per your given value. Alright. And if you give your value below 100, so it will take the percentage accordingly. If you give 75, then it will decrease the original size of the object by 25%. Okay. You can even go back and check by LEN, enter, and the first option, that is select an object. Alright, select an object. Now, the fourth one is total. Herein you can just specify the total length of you want for that particular object. So it accordingly it will change the current length, give you the total length specified by you. Total length and total angle. Okay. And the fifth option was dynamic. That is, dynamically you can, by using your cursor, you can change the measurement, the dimensions of your line, of your arc or polylines, etc. Okay. So they were not so tough, but yes, it will be easy when you practice. So I hope you have already practiced this at home. If still you have any doubt, please clear that in the doubt session. Okay. Now, today we will be learning a new tool. This is also a very important tool because this will actually be applied so many times, and it is a very, I would say, a tool which will help you in reducing your time of completing your project or your assignment or your drawing. All right. Arraying the sketch objects. Array is basically nothing but a method to multiply your object's copies to give you multiple copies of your particular object, but in a particular arrangement. Like for example, a rectangular arrangement or a circular arrangement. Like for example, you want to make a dining table or you want to make a light fixture or anything which is circular, and there are so many parts in it. So you cannot change the angles in a circular manner for each and every chair if it's a dining table, or each and every light fixture of a particular chandelier. So using these array tools, it will be very easy and I would say faster for you to complete the project rather than doing it by rotating each and every object around the axis of the rotation, which is actually not only time consuming, but even mistakes can also happen. That's why we are shifting from manual drawings to drafting, just so that we can save our time and draw to a precision level and accurate level. Okay, so you can invoke this tool through ribbon. Go to home, in modify tab you will get this array. In toolbar you will get in this modify toolbar, and in command line you can type array completely or AR enter. The shortcut key is AR. When you type AR enter or you go to ribbon, there will be a drop down menu for array in which there are 3 arrays. which we will be discussing in the 3 sessions. Okay, I won't be covering in one session because it will be too much for you and you will get confused. So you should also know, you should practice and you should know the difference between all the 3 and where you have to apply. So today we'll be covering the first array, that is rectangular array. Okay, so when you invoke the tool through command line, then also it will first ask which array you want to continue, rectangular, path or polar. Okay, rectangular is for rectangular arrangement, polar is for circular arrangement, and path is for a given path. We will discuss and I'll teach you each and everything. So let's start with rectangular array. So here you can see this is how rectangular array is created. It has rows and columns. So you can specify number of columns, you can specify number of rows. As in, for example, you want to make sitting for a home multiplex or home theater, it will be done in just few seconds or few minutes, rather than you'll be placing one chair and then taking a distance and then placing another chair and taking a distance and giving another chair. Very time consuming. So this will help you in making that particular rows and columns. May it be a school classroom, may it be a painting, may it be a frame, anywhere you could require this particular rectangular array. Maybe you want to design a restaurant. Okay, so wherever rows and columns is required, like an auditorium or a museum, so this can be applied and you can reduce your time of work. Okay, so there are various options when you invoke this tool. First, the base point. Base point is about you need to take a click on a, you need to choose a base point, specify a base point on your screen from where you will start your arrays. That is, it will take this as a base for the measurement. Okay, and accordingly it will take the center measurement and create rows and columns. Number would be specified by you. You have to fill kind of a form, like a complete inputs on a number of rows, number of columns here, like columns, rows. Then you have to specify the spacing between the columns and rows. Count is again it is a club method wherein you can mention the columns and rows and the spacing. Here in it is given differently as well, and within count the same thing happens. Okay, levels is about 3D. You can give levels in the Z direction. So if you want 3 levels, like floors, if you want to give 3 floors, 4 floors, 5 floors, so you can give levels to that particular object or your array. Okay, it's after rows and columns. That is, rows and columns is a different concept that is in 2D and even in 3D, and levels is a part of 3D that is in Z direction. So in X direction you're giving your rows, in Y direction you're giving your columns, or in X direction you're giving your columns and in Y direction you're giving your rows, and in Z direction you're giving your levels. Okay, associative is about if your array is selected as associative, then it will become a kind of a block wherein you can edit each and every object that you have added. Okay, but if you have selected as non-associative, then when you come out of the command, that is array, you come out of your array tool, every object will be separated. It will not be a single array. Okay, so there are, at times we have to use non-associative, but more majorly we use associative because it will be a block which we can move also. Okay, and exit is again just for exit. Okay, so I'll show you first some figures so that you can get an idea what I'm talking about. See, this is a rectangular array in vertical direction. So as this is a modified tool, so first and foremost I have to select an object. So I'll draw an object. It can be anything. It can be a chair. It can be, as of now for basic, it can be just a rectangle. So here this is a rectangle which has been selected, and in vertical direction, just by showing my cursor, I can also do it dynamically. Also, I can do it if my dynamic input is on. So if I move my cursor in vertical direction, it will create a rectangular array in vertical. It will give a column. Okay, and when I show my cursor in the zero direction, that is cursor location is in 0 or 180 in a horizontal position, it will give a rectangular array in horizontal direction. Alright, and this is a complete like 3 rows and 6 columns. So this is a rectangular array, and by spacing you can specify the distance. See, this is the base point. From this base point I can specify the distance between my rows and columns. Okay, or rows and column. Alright, as per my XY plane, it will take rows and columns accordingly. Okay, so now I'll start showing you how to do this. There are two methods to specify your inputs. One is through command line and one is through your ribbon. I'll show you. I'll type AR enter. See, first and foremost it is asking me to select the object. So first I'll create an object. I'll create a rectangle of dimension 2 feet by 2 feet. Okay, so this is my object. Now if I specify AR enter, I'll select this object and press enter. Okay, so now I have to select. See, my dynamic input is on, so it is showing me here, or otherwise in the command line also it is showing me rectangular, path, polar. Okay, so I'll select rectangular. When I select rectangular, see, my ribbon has also changed. It has a new tab, array creation. Okay, in the command line also I can use all the options. By default the current setting is rectangular and associative. Okay, so when I'll come out of it, it will be a single block. I can edit each and everything. There are benefits of associative as well. I'll tell you by when I show you the editing part. Okay, now for the first and foremost, the basic is just to learn how to enter the rows and columns. So I'll show you the easy one. Both are easy. Basically, you can use the command line as well and the ribbon as well, as you are comfortable. So I'll show you through ribbon because command line is very small, so you won't be able to follow my steps. So here the first and foremost is the type panel, in which as of now it is rectangular. The second is column. So herein I have to mention, like, see, by default it is showing 4 columns. So I can change, for example, I can keep 6 columns. So see, it has increased 2 more columns. So basically in X it is increasing the columns. Okay, in Y it will increase the rows. Now in rows I can type 5 rows. See, so 5 rows and 6 columns. Now next is between, for both. The distance between both the columns would be, as of now, see, my base point is the center of the source object. This was my object which I selected. So the base point is the center one, where the grip point is there. Okay, so from here it will take center to center of each and every box. So between the columns the gap should be around, now you have to calculate, your box size is 2 feet and you want a gap between both the boxes at least 3 feet. So center to center I can give at least 5 or 6 feet. I give 6 feet. Okay, so now center to center the distance is 6 feet. Okay, and rows I want to give 5 feet. So distance between rows is 5 feet. Okay, or even you can give the total distance. If you like, for example, it has taken now 6 feet, according to 6 column it has taken 30 feet. I can even write, like, for example, in within 25 feet adjust the columns. So accordingly it will take. Now the between spacing has changed to 5 feet. See, you got my point. Okay, as per the number of columns it has changed my distance between the columns according to the total distance which I have specified. Okay, for example, if I give a odd number 28 feet, so it has taken the distance as 5 feet 7 inches approximately. Okay, so I get 30 feet to round off. So the next column is levels. Here as of now levels is 1 because we are working in 2D, but I'll just for your knowledge I'll show you, if I create 3 levels and I create a distance of 5 feet. Now I'll show you the levels through orbit. See, there are 3 levels now. Okay, so I'll decrease it as 1. Okay, now next is properties. In this, you have 2 things, associative and base point. In associative, if you click the associative button, so the drawing will be non-associative. I'll show you how to work in non-associative as well. As of now, I'm drawing this as associative. So it will be a single kind of a block, a single object within which you can go and edit the complete array. Okay, and you can even change the base point. Like if I click on base point, see the center point was my base point. Now I can take my base point as this end point, and now the grid points would change. Now the base point is this. I can again go back and take center point as my base point. Okay, and I'll close the array. See, that's all. Now when I select this, whenever I select this, again an array panel will open. This is the editing. There will be an additional options here, editing options. And when I select it, this is a single object. Okay. Now, before going further, I'll show you. You can edit 2 ways. One, through your grips. Here you can see there are grip points. The source object has a center main because this is the parent object, parent grip. Okay. So herein you can move the location of the complete array. From this point, you can create a gap between the columns. From this point, you can increase the rows. From this grip point on the second line, second row, you can decrease or increase the space between the rows. See, this is the second row grip point. From the last row grip point, you can increase the number of rows. Like I said, Y is about rows, so you can increase the number of rows. Same here with the last column grip, you can create more columns, and with the second column grip, you can increase or decrease the gap between the columns. Okay. See, this is the parent grip. When you move your cursor over it, it will show 2 options, move or level count. So you can increase the level count or just move the complete array to a new position. Okay. When you select the corner grip, it will specify you the number of rows and number of columns. So you can change the number of rows and number of columns. Okay. And by pressing the control button, see, the tooltip is showing here. By pressing the control button, you can cycle between the row and column count and total row and column spacing. So you can do the both things. Okay. So this is through grip points. Okay. See, you can change the distance between the 2 columns. Okay. In the last grip, you can change the number of columns. Okay. And the second part is you can edit the array through your tab on your ribbon, which I was showing. There is extra panel open now. When you have come out of the array, now you have selected your array again, edit options have appeared in front of you. I'll go to CAD and show you. See? So when I selected, these are the grip points. This is my parent grip. From here, I can change the location. When I come over it, so it is showing me move or level count. Okay. When I click it, it is showing me, the tooltip is showing me you can move or level count. Through control, I can toggle on both of them. This grip, see, it is showing 6 feet. I can change the spacing of my columns. I can increase or decrease. Even I can type in the edit box. That is the pointer input. Okay. Now it is showing 7 feet. As of now, it is 6 feet. Okay. This is for rows. The last one is to increase the columns. See, now it is increasing as and when you show your cursor. Okay, when you come over it, it will show you three things: column count, total column spacing, and axis angle. Okay, when you go to this point, again it will show row count, total row spacing, and axis angle. So you can increase your rows. Here in the last grip, you can either change both rows and columns count or the spacing between rows and columns. Okay, if you click rows and columns, so it will show you can increase the number of rows and columns from the same grip. Okay, and if you select total row and column spacing, so you can increase the spacing in for both the rows and columns. Okay, so that was through grip. Second is through this tab. Herein you have three options. One is edit source. You can edit the source object. Okay, now I'll come back to my slide and I'll show you. This is the source object of this particular drawing. So you can edit this source. Like for example, in this you can see a vertex has been stretched. So all of them are also having the same stretch. This is what is the benefit of associative. When it is non-associative, it won't change. It won't edit. It will just work on one single object. So if we have drawn three, like here we have 3 rows and 4 columns. So we have almost 12 objects. So if it is non-associative, these 12 objects would be different. But through associative, you can edit the source object. And the changes will be applied in all of them. For example, if I want to add another triangle within this triangle, and if I have a rectangle, I want to add a circle in between. So every rectangle will have that circle. I'll show you in CAD, don't worry. And even you can replace. You can replace some objects within the array. Like here, you can see within all the polygons, pentagons, we have chained 3 triangles. Okay. So now I'll show you this in CAD. So I'll show you how to edit. So when I click on edit source, I'll select the source object. Even it can be anyone, but I'll click. This is my item which I've selected. Okay. When I click on this, I can stretch, add vertex, or convert to arc, or otherwise I'll add a circle in it. See, each and every box has a circle. Save changes. So by editing my source object, I've changed all the objects in my array. So for example, I am creating a painting or a frame in which I have made changes on one particular object, and I have 25 objects. So I can just, by editing one, I can change each and every one. I don't have to go to every object and do the changes. Okay. I'll once again show you. Edit source, click on object. Now here, when I stay on my cursor, on the grip point, I can stretch the vertex as well. See, all the objects have changed its vertex. I can even discard the change. I've discarded the change. Okay, this was one option. Now, the second option is replace item. I can even replace my item. Like for example, I'll create a triangle. Okay. Now, I'll go in edit. I'll replace item. I'll select the replacement object. Base point. I'll select the base point of replacement object. Now it is asking me whether I want to select an item in the array to replace, or I want to erase the source, replace the source object. If I replace the source object, all the objects would be replaced. And if I want just to replace one object, I can select that particular object. Okay, so see, it is changed. I can change few of them. Just go and click on it. Okay. See, when I enter, it is again asking me source, replace, or other options. So I'll just press exit and close the array. See, I've changed some of I've replaced with a triangle. Okay. So when I type AR enter and select an object, go to rectangular. So these were my options: column, rows, levels, spacing. In count, you will get both. You have to specify the number of columns and then number of rows. And you can change the base point and select associative or non-associative. Now I'll show you about non-associative. Okay. I'll create a circle. Diameter 2 feet. I'll go to array command, select the object, enter and press rectangular array. In this, I will go and click on non-associative. I mean, I'll just click on the associative. So if it is not, it is blue, means it is associative. If it is not blue, means non-associative. I won't go deep in this again. I'll just show you the difference. So this is now non-associative. Now you see, when I select, all are different objects. So basically I cannot edit this array. These are separate objects now. Okay, so I cannot edit, like I cannot change the source object. I cannot replace the object. I have to work with each and every circle as a separate object. That is what is the difference between non-associative and associative. Sometimes non-associative is required as and when you're drawing demanding, because sometimes we just create and we want this few of them, so we have to delete some of them, so we can use the non-associative method. Okay, so that's all there in rectangular array. This is your assignment. Try this assignment at home after this session, and you have to submit in drawing format. Nothing but, again, you'll be applying few more other than rectangular array. See, here it is a rectangle. So you can apply a chamfer rectangle, or you can choose the modify tool and use the chamfer tool as well. It depends on you. It's not so difficult, I hope, but practice again. For your practice, it is important. May it be a simple one. Even you can try more, like for example, after making this, try to rotate it in a particular angle, create something. Okay. Within this, you can practice the editing of the source object. Okay. In next session, we'll do a quick revision and we'll do the next array tool, that is polar array. Okay, which is a circular arrangement. Okay. Thank you, students, and submit your assignment for sure.